In my town, there used to be an abandoned prison. It has since been knocked down. It was in the middle of the woods, and it wasn't the kind of place that you just ended up at accidentally. Every once in a while, police would patrol around it, but for the most part, they just let the barbed wire fences do their job. Now, this wasn't a high-security prison for serial killers or anything, but it held robbers and rapists and the like, up until about 8 years prior to the incident. It was unsettling during the daytime, especially as so much of it had been left behind, as if the place was abandoned in a hurry. But it was downright creepy at night. Well, I'm in high school. My friend Nick and I loved exploring, and we went all over, including to the abandoned mental hospital that was only a few miles from the jail. Growing up in the area, we knew that there was a small hole under the fence in one area, which was the only way to access the jail. One night, we made the normal trip under this hole, and were walking around the area outside of the jail. We were moving as quietly as possible, because we were aware that police would still occasionally patrol the area. They just parked their cars at the opposite side of the fence from where we entered, so we wouldn't be able to see them if they were there. Eventually, we were pretty sure that there were no police, so we began to be a little louder and turned on our flashlights. I should now mention that other than the occasional policeman who parks his car outside of the fence, we had never seen another person anywhere near the jail, let alone inside the fenced area. We were hesitant to enter the jail itself. First of all, because of how scary it is at night, and secondly, because it's a pain in the arse to get into the jail itself during the daytime, let alone at night. So instead, we kind of just walked around the outside for a while as we normally did, scaring ourselves for the fun of it. Anyway, eventually, we start working up the courage to go inside. So we make the long trip to the other side of it, where we knew the entrance was. We're walking along the side of the jail where the cells are, which had these huge windows. These were so that from the outside, when the jail was in use, you could see all of the inmates and what they were doing. As we were walking, out of nowhere, a light turns on from inside one of the cells that we were only a few feet from. We can't really remember seeing anything inside, just one of the beams of light, which first points upwards and then directly onto us. At first, we freeze in terror. As I said before, we'd never seen anyone in there. Who would be sitting inside of a cell, totally silent in the darkness, as a couple of teenage boys walked around outside? We couldn't imagine that it was a fellow thrill-seeker like us. It was not the kind of place you'd want to sit alone in the dark. A homeless person? No. We didn't think he'd have a flashlight. And anyway, we assumed that cops must look through the inside during the day every once in a while. A police officer? No. There was no reason for them to be sitting inside of the building in the dark, waiting, like they'd known we'd been there for a long time. After a few seconds, we sprinted away as fast as we could. I didn't even turn around to see if we were being followed. We just found the hole under the fence and got out of there. We still wonder to this day who was sitting inside of an abandoned jail cell in the dark, presumably watching two teenage boys outside, then waiting until they were only feet away to announce their presence by illuminating the flashlight. I'd assume we'd never know the answer to that question, and I don't really want to know. We never went back at night, and the place is now gone.